Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful afternoon. This is a bonus video today with a story and 2 updates from the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Angel698. Entitled sister-in-law wants custody of my baby. Background: me, 36 female, sister-in-law, 40 female. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years, and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She's always felt like I had the life she wanted, not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, family, job stability, etc. I have 3 kids, 10 female, 8 male, 3 months female. She got married last year and they decided to start trying for a baby, but she was unfortunately told that she can't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated, and the family comforted her as best as we could. We recently had a family dinner, and in the middle of it she says, "OP, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids, and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child, so I think you should give her to me during the week so I can create a motherly bond with her, and you can have her on weekends." Before I could respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once. So I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking what the heck is wrong with her, and why would she even think to ask that? She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcomed at my house or around my children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children, and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and mother-in-law kept apologizing and dragged her out of the house, still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. OP added an edit onto this one. It says, "Edit, I've been reading the comments, but it's too many to reply to, so here are a few points. 1. We have a security system and cameras already installed, and no one has keys to our house. 2. I will not be able to get a restraining order, as this one incident isn't enough to justify it. 3. My husband and I spoke to the older kids about it the same night, and we'll be having another talk with them to reinforce that sister-in-law is not a safe person anymore. 4. Our country does not have the right to bear arms, and I also have no interest in getting a pew-pew. 5. I'll be informing the school and daycare of the issue and giving them her photo." For those questioning the validity of the post, I completely understand. If I had heard about this last week, I wouldn't believe it either. But it's unfortunately the situation I'm currently dealing with. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Beautiful Delivery 77. It says, "If she ever goes to daycare, make sure they know she is not allowed to pick up your daughter. I would also contact the school your other children attend just in case. She sounds unhinged." Yes, the entire family agrees she needs help, but I'd still be careful because you never know what she might do. If you don't already have one, get a video doorbell. OP responded and said she's not on any of the pickup lists, but I'll take the advice and let the school and daycare know that she isn't to be in contact with my kids. In another comment, OP said, "We already have a security system and cameras because there's been a trend of house break-ins in our area lately. No one has the code or keys to our house, not even the in-laws, so we're safe on that front. Unfortunately, a restraining order won't happen because it will take a lot more than this to justify requesting one. We've never relied on her for childcare or pickups, so she's essentially a stranger to the daycare and school." Another user below called CompetitiveFig6943 says, "I would go no contact with sister-in-law until some clear steps have been taken to support her mental health. Please protect your kids and stay safe. Please keep us updated because I, unfortunately, don't think you have heard the last from your sister-in-law." Agree on this one. This is definitely not the last that OP has heard from their sister-in-law. There's going to be a whole bunch more that goes on here because this lady has gone off the rails. One thing to take away from this first part is that everybody else that was there understood just how crazy this request was, from OP's sister-in-law, and they took steps to get her out of the house and away from where the kids were. OP, it sounds like the rest of your family are completely reasonable people. Let's jump into OP's first update. Alright, the first update from OP is entitled Update, Entitled Sister-in-Law Wants Custody of My Baby. So my sister-in-law has been admitted to a psychiatric facility. In the comments of my previous post, I mentioned that her husband was seeking out counseling for them to deal with the infertility prior to this incident. After the incident, he sought out a psychiatrist rather than a counselor, and they had their first session last week. I didn't get the specifics of what happened, but basically, she made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. My brother-in-law has been nothing but apologetic through this entire ordeal, and he kept her away from us since the incident. Mother-in-law was staying with them to keep an eye on sister-in-law. She tried to leave the house in the middle of the night to see her baby. Also, brother-in-law found her researching how to induce lactation, and she said it was to make sure she can feed the baby properly when I come to my senses and give her up. From what brother-in-law has said, seeing me breastfeed is apparently what triggered the entire episode. It was the first time sister-in-law was around the baby for any length of time, and she was holding her when she got fussy because she was hungry. Naturally, I took her to feed her, and this made sister-in-law feel inadequate because it triggered the thought that she would never be able to do that, which led to the events of the last post. I'm grateful for all the advice that was offered on my last post, as some of it was really helpful. We won't be moving as it's not feasible for us at the moment, but we have taken extra steps with security both at home and at the kids' school and daycare. This whole thing is taking a toll on the family, but mother-in-law, father-in-law, and brother-in-law are taking care of sister-in-law, and my husband and I are focused on ensuring the safety of our immediate family and minimizing the effect on the kids as much as we can. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Aqua Venitus. It says, I'm glad your family took the initiative and got the help and the treatment your sister-in-law needs. And it's a good thing the entire family was keeping an eye on her, otherwise this would have been a different update. Unfortunately, it's going to be a while before sister-in-law is well enough to go out into society. Continue to keep your family safe. I'm sorry this happened to you and your children. Another user down below called Desert Fairy said, your folks did the right thing protecting your kids, and your family did the right thing getting sister-in-law help. Sometimes, reality is just too much for a mind to bear. Your sister-in-law had a psychotic break and will likely be unwell for a long time. Even after she is on a successful medication regimen, she shouldn't have access to you or the kids. One missed med or one trigger can initiate a relapse. I'd also point out, I use the word initiate rather than caused. You breastfeeding your baby did not cause this. It may have initiated the initial break, but it did not cause this. You are not at fault. Well, OP, I think we can all agree that the best thing for your sister-in-law was that involuntary hold. She really needs the mental help and needs to be physically kept away from you and your kids. I want to reiterate what I said after part 1. The fact that mother-in-law, father-in-law, and brother-in-law are all on your side and understand that there's a major problem here is a massive plus for you. It sounds like everybody's working together to ensure the safety of you and your kids. That's great. Let's jump into OP's last update now. Alright, this update is called Update 2 Entitled Sister-in-Law Wants Custody of My Baby. I have not seen sister-in-law since the incident happened, and I also blocked her on my socials. My in-laws have been amazing through this entire situation and are not sharing any information about our family with her. Unfortunately, she still remains fixated on my baby. She tried to find out where the daycare is and even threatened to hurt herself if my in-laws didn't tell her. This led to another stint in the psych ward. She wrote me a letter begging me to be fair and let her see her baby. I didn't actually receive the letter though, My mother-in-law read it and just gave us the gist of its contents. Sister-in-law's husband is working with her psychiatrist to see how best she can be helped, but he has said he doesn't know how long he can deal with this, but he's giving it 6 months. It's a very sad situation for her, and I had hoped she would be able to deal with whatever is happening. At this point, we're completely no contact with her. We explained to our older kids that their aunt isn't well, so she won't be around anymore. We still see mother-in-law and father-in-law regularly, so I'm grateful we didn't have to cut them off. We spent the holidays with my family, and it was all very nice and uneventful. We're still on alert in case she escalates, but the hospital where she's warded isn't near us, and they don't live near us either. So we've accepted this is our new reality, and we're operating accordingly. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, the same commenter from the previous one, Aqua Veneta, said, "Unfortunately, this is one of those scenarios where there needs to be a permanent restraining order and a permanent cease and desist. It's clear sister-in-law will never accept her obviously sad circumstances. She'll never stop being fixated on your youngest, even as she gets older. I hate to say it, but sister-in-law might have to stay in the psychiatric ward permanently. I'm so sorry about your family's situation." Another user down below called Mio Cleo said, "I am so glad that every single person took this as seriously as it is. You, your husband, your brother-in-law, mother-in-law, and father-in-law, but also the psychiatrist and other professionals. Your sister-in-law is very, very ill and has zero self-awareness. A dangerous combination that absolutely justifies everything you are doing. I hope that you and your partner are also getting professional help to help you process all of this, but also to grieve. Your relationship with your sister-in-law is permanently altered. Even if the jealousy was there before, I cannot imagine that anyone expected it to escalate to this. The family dynamic has lost its casualness, and all of you need to establish a new normal." That is a lot, and combined with having young children, it is ginormous. Please don't forget to be kind to yourself and each other while dealing with all of this. You can give yourself the occasional break. A bunch of people in the comments were ripping into the brother-in-law, saying that he shouldn't even be thinking about leaving her at this point. Well, you have to think that their relationship is forever changed. It's never going to be the same. Their social life is kinda ruined because there will always be rumors around what happened with her. He's got to think about himself at some point. Yes, I agree. You don't leave somebody right away when they're having a mental break. But down the road, if things don't get better, he does have to start thinking about himself at some point. It seems like he's putting all of his energy into taking care of her right now and neglecting himself. That can't go on for very long. So whether it's a year or 2 or however long it goes, he's really going to have to do something to make his life better as well. Getting back to OP, it sounds like you're doing absolutely everything right, and you have a very good support system as well. I think you're going to be okay going forward because you're being so careful about it, and everybody else is as well. I wish you the best of luck going forward.